Hi, we're Unprofessional Perfectionist. I am Paul.
I'm Kristin.
And today, just kidding, not today. Well, usually we talk about things that aren't really brought up in normal conversations, and that's okay. We're here to give you our unprofessional advice, and Kristin and I are just two friends that are really good armchair therapists in love with ourselves, each other, and no one else. You could take our advice if you want it, and hopefully these chats and these questions help you navigate yourselves, your lives, any confusion or confusing topics you might have and misunderstandings you might have with not just yourselves, but other relationships with your friends, family, partners, and how to navigate the weird and wacky thing that Kristin calls life. I just call it living, baby. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. So, Kristin, what do you want to talk about today?
I think for this episode, we should talk about stress. And how
that stresses me out thinking about it.
And how it affects us, and how we should overcome it. Life ain't easy.
Oh my God. If it was easy, then I'd be, I don't know.
I'd be a billionaire right now.
I'd be a billionaire because I can't count. That's what makes life hard.
I would definitely be Bezos.
I would be giving besitos
to Bezos.
I wouldn't be bald ass. I love my hair, so I would not be bald.
Okay, then I'd be his ex-wife because she has like half of his money anyway. So
and she's like giving away. She's like doing cool stuff with it. So I'm like, yeah, great.
She's actually a nice person.
Yeah, who would have thought? If you're a nice person, stuff comes at you. You know, that's how it works, I guess. So stress, like, I know it's like a wacky time. Like, it's literally a pandemic. So there's a lot of stresses. What has been the most consistent stress in your life? Just been from this pandemic, not just been from like, growing old or anything. But what has been the stress that you're like, oh my God, like chores or like, like something, a sound stresses you out, like what's something that you still have yet to like navigate or like perfect?
Myself.
Yourself. I'm not mastering myself.
No, I think it's what stresses me out is the future.
Yeah. Future. Who is she?
She's the future, baby. No, yeah, it's just the constant feeling of like, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing to like, give my future self like.
What about the future kind of like stresses you out? Like aspect of it, is it kind of like the unknown kind of thing, the confusion of that, or is it kind of like the comparison?
It's the comparison of like, what am I doing now and how is it going to affect my future? Like, am I doing everything right? Because there are times like when I started after high school, I went to school and I was like, this isn't what I want. I don't want to be here. Like, I want to make money and I want to be able to like,
I
want to be able to, I want to be able to afford a car and like be able to pay for my stuff and not have my parents like give me money. A few years of doing that was like, well, it was fine. Sooner or later, man, you realize in order for me to get more money, I need a better education.
Which sucks about like, oh my God, like where we're at right now, like in society and like everything. It's like the degrees are minimizing in like their effectiveness. And it's like people back in the fucking like 50s and 60s and shit, like they'd be like, yo, third grade education. I'm a CEO now, baby. It's like, yo, equivalent of a high school diploma. Like it's almost nothing. It sucks because it's like, you're so right with like is this the right path, life path, or is this the right life path of like waiting, being patient, going to school and studying and devoting all that time to study and everything and to like perfect ourselves and learn more, but then also losing those optimal years of like our life, going out and maybe meeting someone or like meeting, not romantically, that too, meeting someone along the line to help us get a position or kind of like running at the bar or something, like literally so many random things, or making a friend of a friend who has a job opportunity for us. That's supposed to also happen in college. Like, but then there's so many things. You're right. And that makes I'm getting stressed out now. I'm like, oh my God. Like there's so many ways.
Another thing that's crazy to me is that there's people who have a better knowledge of the career, but since they don't have the correct qualifications and the degrees, they don't get the job.
Honestly, that's it's so tragic. Like imagine being at that. I mean, I don't want to imagine it because that'll stress me out too. But like if you're there and you're like, you're more qualified just from like experience, like you said, like a craft or like, say your dad knows how to do something, right? And you're like, oh, I know how to do this because I've been around it my whole life. And they're like, okay, but where's that paper, baby? Yeah, like you invested the time to learn about it. Whereas someone had to intensely study. It's almost the same qualifications, but it's like, who's going to do it better? That's for them to decide. But like, you're right. Like not even being given the opportunity just because we don't have the qualifications. That's kind of like the anxiety behind it. Like, is that what it's going to come down to? I hope not, but like, is that how you feel? Like it, like just seeing everything around us, because like grow up with like our older, like our parents and the older generation, like our teachers, like, oh, you need to go to college, or like you need to do this. or get a certificate to like work your way up the ladder. And then we're seeing like there's no such thing as like company loyalty. There's no such thing as having a secure foundation to a future. There's like, if you just work on a trade and then just like buy a house and stuff, that the housing market could go down. Mm-hmm. If you are in a relationship that seems secure, they could literally just change their mind the next day. There's no security, and that stress in a ball in life in general. But then it's like, how do we even approach that and like be content and okay with not knowing that things could happen and they're going to affect us, you know, like not knowing how they're going to, or I mean, not how, like not knowing what they're going to do and knowing it's going to affect us.
It's everywhere. Like you said, like you can be in a relationship and then the next day your partner be like, I don't love you anymore. Let's break up. Or like you're at your job and you think you're doing a great job. And then the next day your boss is like, hey, someone came in with more qualifications than you, so we're going to have to let you go. Crazy to me to see us not be as stressed as we should be.
Yeah, with everything happening. Yeah, I'm like, it seems like we should be going wild right now. Yeah.
Our human race is very optimistic and we're very open to change and whatnot. But then when change actually happens, that's when shit hits the fan. People are like, what am I going to do? Like, I have nothing, or like, I wasted all this time in school doing this one thing. And ever since I got this certificate or this degree and I started this job, I hate this job. Like I know a couple of people who have gone to school and then started their career and they're like, I hate it. I thought that I was going to like this. That's also a stress factor because you're like, okay, well, now I have all these student loans for something that isn't even really benefiting me.
Can't even pay it off because you're not doing that job to like to benefit you. You never knew, because that could happen in so many ways. Like I could feel like stressed out just thinking like, what if the next day knock on wood, that like again a car crash, or like I lose my like through COVID, like I lose my sense of smell and everything, like just like sensations of like living. Yeah. Like, and I could feel that like I wouldn't want to further down the line have that sensation of passion of like for my job, you know. And I'm glad those people, as confusing and as stressful as that is, to like recognize that they don't love what they're doing, they don't love who they're with. I'm glad that they recognize it and could acknowledge it, and that I admire them, because that takes a lot of courage to kind of get out that spot. And I wish I could do that. I wish I could just be like this is not what I like to do. This is not what I want. The fear of going into the unknown, the fear of like what else is out there. I'm like, I'm so tired of exploring. I'm so tired of like trying to find my way, because I spent my whole fucking life doing that. You know, it seems like in high school, in college, like that's all we're doing. We're all looking. It's like, when is it just going to appear? And it's not. Yeah. It's not going to appear. We just have to keep on going with it, and that's so tiring. That's so stressful.
That's life, though, and it's hard.
C'est la vie.
Yeah, and it's hard because you look at your parents and your guardian, and you're like, how did we get here? How did you get here? Like, how did you know this is what you wanted to do? And it's, you know, there are some people who are fortunate and their careers just kind of drop into their lap, and then there's other people who work very hard. You know, they get what they get. Like I said, it's just the way of life, and anything can happen in a blink of an eye. Like I said earlier, like we're all very optimistic, but there are some people who don't handle stress very well, and they just become hermits, and they're like, I don't want to do anything because I don't want to get into a car accident. I don't want to lose my, I don't want to like get sick or all this stuff. And they just become like stuck.
They're like, shoop.
They get stuck and they shut everyone out. And that is very unhealthy. So don't do that.
Don't do that. That's definitely one of the effects of stress from like psychology today. It's like that is one of the triggers of stress, one of the fight or flight senses, because it's a response that is activated hormonally through signals of like, hey, I'm not sure what's going to go down. I'm threatened right now by whether it's unknown, whether it's a situation, a circumstance. So the best thing to do is to shut down the body thinks. It's not the best thing. Kristin just said it right now. Listen to Kristin. She's a professional. But during a stressful event, whether it's a sudden appearance of like a snake or your ex, or, you know, dropping all your like spaghetti off your pocket or something like that. Something triggers a cascade of hormones, which is like adrenaline, cortisol, and all that surges through the body, and it shuts us down. We literally have physical effects of tightening, of being immobile, because of this indirect focus of not knowing what to do. It's literally draws attention to anything that is fogging up our mind and not making our actions clear, not making our mentality clear. And the thing is, it's like sometimes we do have to focus on the broader picture in order to focus on how we're going to change one little aspect that's stressing us out, because maybe what's stressing us out is our environment, our atmosphere, our living situation, our relationship, ourselves. Like you could be completely tired of yourself and you're like, hey, I need to have a meeting. I need to clean my room. I need to do this. Like maybe waking up every single day and saying and not feeling like you have enough time to just tidy up your room or just do your makeup or just do your skincare routine. That's stressing you out because it's literally in the back of your head. You're like, oh, I'll get to it. And pushing it off is like that impending doom of a stressful event, of a breakdown happening. That's something that's like subjected to everyone. Like they approach it differently. Kristin, when you feel like that, like when you feel like you don't have enough time on your hands, when you feel like you are stressed out because you're going to get to it one day, you're going to fix that problem eventually, and that timeline starts to thin, I feel like that kind of goes into like how you're stressed about the future, because that you're always looking towards the future. And when in the present, do you feel like you need to kind of take a step back and be like, okay, let's organize these stresses. Let's evaluate what is the most stressful thing affecting me the most that I can actually realistically get to: my room, my makeup, anything like that. Yeah. So for you, how do you kind of like organize that?
I think I have to like have an anxiety attack in order to finally realize like, oh shit.
Go to Loco 100.
Yeah. Like,
right away.
Oh shit. Like this is really affecting me. Like how having anxiety attacks, but they definitely open your mind after, because you're just like, after having it, you're sitting there and you're just like, what am I doing wrong? Triggered me to have this. And then like one of the biggest triggers right now that like causes stress is work and school for people our age, you know, because like I said, like we think that we need to have everything in order before we advance into the future. And after like having my anxiety attack, like I think I just sit here and I'm just like, okay, well, in order to calm down and in order to get my shit together, like I need to have time for myself. Like I need to establish boundaries and like I need to learn how to relax. And like, if I feel like something is stressing me out, I need to stop. I need to stop. And I don't need to keep pushing on and keep thinking like, it's fine. Like, even though I'm stressed, like I'm still going to get this done right now. I know like with teachers, they say like, if you cram, you're studying and you're stressed about your test, you're not going to learn.
I hate hearing it, but
it's
like,
true.
Right.
It's true though. Your work ethic, if you're stressed, it's going to show. It's going to show in what you do, and it's going to show in like whatever you're doing and whatever field you're in, or like even if it's cleaning up your room. If you're stressed about cleaning up your room, you're going to take the pile of clothes that you have on one side of the bed and throw it on the other side. You're going to be like, okay, this part's clean. But then you're going to turn over and be like, oh, fuck, my clothes are still here.
Let's get the stress and ball it up somewhere else. Like, well,
we're going to push Bikini Bottom somewhere else.
On 3.
It's just exactly. That's just how it is. And it sucks. But I personally think that you should track your stressors. Get a journal. You could just write down like what you do during the day and then just be like, okay, this is what I had stress during this time. And then I figured it out and I did this. But then like, if you track your stressors, you're going to be like, okay, this is the main thing that's bothering me. Like what can I do to like fix it?
That is such a good idea. That's like another approach in therapy where it's like that mood tracker. I know what you're talking about. It's kind of like a food tracking or like calorie counting, but it's like literal, like a spiritual calorie counter. No, I'm kidding.
Those daily mood calendars where you're like, you color in the box of like how you were feeling that day.
Yeah. How'd you feel? Yeah. Like the, you know, those like little kid charts. It's like, how did Tommy do in class today? Did he get a happy face? Pull a card. Do you get a yellow card? Oh, you little shit. I'm gonna tell your mom. Like, no, but like, that's such a good idea.
Did your card stay at green or did you go to red?
You go red. You're out of here. Yeah. See ya. You're getting held back because no child left behind. That's such a good idea to have that mood calendar and mood board so you could see the trends, especially those folks that are on like medication. That was definitely a huge help when I was starting off medication. The instability and like trying to stabilize my, not just like emotions, but like find out those triggers for stresses, for anxiety, and literal triggers for episodes and everything else that happens and comes with the condition. Unfortunately, that was such a good thing to see the pattern of like, where was I at during that day? What, even down to like the weather, the moon phase. Like my journal had it all because I go into like the moon phases of it and stuff. But like, who was I talking to? Was I drinking that day? Did I take some substances or like something like that? Was I with my friends? And it's a trend when I'm with my friends, when I talk to you, when I'm just in a better place financially, when I'm not as home often. I love my family, but you know, like we do want some space and time away. My status overall, those are huge things to like be mindful of when we're approaching stress, because it's not like those are going to be the end all be alls. They're not going to be the ultimatum to like, are we stressed or are we not stressed? Because we could still be in a healthy situation, a living space. We could be with our friends and still be stressed the fuck out. Maybe there's exam due the next day and we're at the club. Maybe there's...
I had to get my mind off of it. I had to see some booty.
Yeah, I had to. Yeah, I need to see that booty shaking. But every time those claps cheek, ooh, all I could think about is how my... Never mind. I was going to... They're not going to clap their hands at my graduation because I failed. Like, oh my God. Something like that. You. There won't be a stripper at my graduation party.
I'm so failed. Sorry, Sparkles.
Sparkles.
I failed you.
I failed. Ah, my God. Yeah, journaling is such a healthy approach, like meditation, drinking tea like I'm drinking. Sponsored by it. No, I'm kidding.
Even eating well.
That's a huge, yes.
With stress comes stress eating.
Oof,
and I know we all like our chips and our candies and our sodas, but I don't know about you guys, but when I get stressed, I break out a lot.
Oh, same, like a ding on that.
And then I'm just like, maybe I need to drink water and start eating like better. Because also like with stress eating too, it's any time of the day.
Oh yeah, right.
You're
it's
like
literally.
You're like 2 a.m. Yeah, I could go for a bag of chips.
Yeah, let me calm myself down. Not thinking about
what the outcome was going to be. Yeah.
Let me just like keep on or not eat enough. You know, like and not drink water. I'm like, oh, let me just drink like a coffee. Let me just keep on drinking coffees because I like coffees. Or like sleeping. Like let me oversleep because I'm like, I'm just needing a me day. That makes me break out. Like any change, any irregularity makes me break out, unless it's a healthy one where it's like, oh, I worked out and I like washed my face or something. It's like, clear. I get some sun, some vitamin D, some other D, and like that's makes me glow in some way and less stressful, you know? That's a huge thing, yeah, with breaking out.
Stress sucks, dude.
Yeah.
Stress sucks. When you're stressed, you kind of have like a short circuit with your emotions. Because I know that when I'm stressed, I tend to be like crankier. I tend to like snap at times, when things don't go your way. Yeah. Right. Or someone asks you a question and you take it wrong and you're like, what the fuck did you just say?
Yeah. You're like, what did you just say? Threat? Are you friend or foe? Yeah.
I will end you right now.
I swear. Literally.
But yeah, so another form is exercising.
Healthy
Go
ones.
for a fucking walk.
Go for a fucking walk. Yeah, when people, when people are mad, yeah, they're like, go take a walk. It helps. You're breathing. The breathing exercise helps oxygen flow into your brain. And then you're like, okay, let me just think. Let me not be so literally hot-headed. And let me just like accept this oxygen into my head so I could think and not piss everyone off and piss myself off. And then talk to yourself. Talking to yourself is so healthy. Like having that inner monologue could only go so far. Talk it out, write it out, manifest it in some other way, transcription, like whether it's like recording yourself, like ranting, recording yourself, like screaming into the void or like some music, go on a car ride. Oh wait, no, don't do that if you're like super angry because like you'll crash into people and you'll be a horrible person. Yeah.
Do not commit vehicular manslaughter,
please. Not on the first degree, but on the second degree, please.
It's in relationships, it's at work, it's at home, it's with yourself. You could literally be stressed at yourself. You could be like, bro, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, why didn't I get this done yesterday? Fucking lazy. Why was yesterday me so fucking lazy?
Yeah. It's like, today I'm being even lazier. It's like, well, oh my God, we're just running in the circle of like hating ourselves and stressing ourselves out. It's like, well, you didn't do this. And then we're like blaming ourselves, like gaslighting ourselves even then. And we're like, you know what? If you would have done this, if you listened to your grandmother and went to college, like then we just start blaming and throwing it around. And that stresses us out and stresses everyone else out. And like, remember how you said like you snap? Like that is a huge thing when like you're stressed out. Like I shut down. And I become very like antisocial. Like I don't want to like, because I want to figure out my stuff first, get my shit together. And like, and then I could be like, now I can invite people because I'm more inviting and I feel like I'll be happier. But then I feel stressed because I'm like, then I'm left out. Then I can't invite people. Yeah. I'm left out of stuff because I shut down so much that people are like, he's just an asshole, you know? That's
another thing too, where I'm not saying that like what you're doing is wrong, but it depends on like,
it's so wrong.
It depends on how long you just go MIA for, you know?
True.
And
yeah.
like we talked about in our last podcast about like communication and everything. If you're going through it, man, like just tell us and we'd understand, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like
always.
It's if you're just like, hey, I'm not feeling myself, like I'm gonna be MIA for a couple days, like we wouldn't be like, hey, fuck you. We're gonna do everything the fuck we want without you.
I mean, afterwards, and they're like, all right, oh, hope you're feeling better. You know, like come back when you could come back. You let the goblin run away, and then fuck you, dude. And then we'll fuck together. Like,
kick him out of the chat.
And then I come back. Hey guys, why is it so quiet? And they're like, oh shit, gotta add him back. Ooh, did someone add him back?
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Like, my phone was awfully quiet the last 30 minutes.
Why haven't they talked about anything?
Like they haven't talked about Daft Punk yet. Wakes up.
Oh my god, I was just gonna bring that up.
Yeah, I was like, oh no.
You're like, this is the worst Good Morning text I've ever seen.
I know. I was waiting. I was waiting for it. Then I saw. I'm like, oh my god. I thought it was gonna be cute
Daft
shit.
Punk broke up. Love isn't real.
Love is not real. It's God. It's wrong. It's all wrong. Oh my god. You know, I was asking people about not just Daft Punk, but I was asking people about like shutting down wise, like, you know, like just what do they do that stresses them out, that makes them almost like to the point of being like anxious about stress. And most often than not, maybe it's just, or more often than not, it's about socializing itself, you know, like being antisocial. Either if it's like FOMO, like fear of missing out. I don't know if that's just a California thing. Oh, I get, honey, what could go on? I get that so much, especially right now. Like right now, I'm like, it is completely logical and understanding. Yet something inside of me is just like, no, you're a piece of shit. Everyone hates you. When I'm like, I was literally busy. Second, I was asleep. Or like third, like there's COVID. Like it literally, you know? And most people are like, it's socializing and not just being like they're socially awkward, like, which a lot of people do feel right now are like very timid. They're very like unsure, like, hey, is this like, am I just too comfortable with myself now? And what if I'm too comfortable, so comfortable that who I am, who I truly am, is kind of like a weirdo, a wacko, a little freak on a leak, which is what I think all the time, but I'm like, I don't care.
We love you.
As
freaky leaky as you are.
Like, okay, I'm gonna block her right now. Okay. Incorrect. And some people are just, they think, or they feel socializing makes them anxious because there's an expectation to be had, kind of in the same way, or that they're not meeting that standard and they're going to be talked about after, and like that stresses them out. Do you ever find those like experiences like of socializing more stressful than not being social? Then, because you're literally a social butterfly, like. You love being around people. This is, I know, super hard for you right now. Like, it's so hard for us to not be together.
This pandemic has been literally the worst thing to happen to me.
Literally, yeah.
And, you know, it does suck because, like, I'm not going to lie. I have seen a couple of friends, you know, since the pandemic. But what we do prior is we get tested and then we wait about, like, 48 hours to see each other. And then, like, once we get our results, we're like... They're like, okay, like, let's go to a park, let's hang out, like, let's socially distance and hang out, which is fine. Yeah. And, you know, I have the vaccine now, but I mean...
she has the vaccine, everyone. She has it.
Come to my house, I'll give it to you. No, but it's hard. It's so hard.
Absolutely, yeah.
I, like, definitely feel FOMO hardcore. But not as much as I should. Because, like, I'll see people out, like, at bars or, like, they're traveling a lot. And I'm just like...
Like, a lot. No, like, a lot, yeah.
Girl, why are you being so musty, girl? Like,
right? I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like, oh, girl, get out of here. Like, every week to Mexico or, like, Las Vegas, I'm like, oh, that's a different kind of... Oh, my God. Instead of pandemic pods, yeah.
I was like, does she not know about the pandemic?
We're in a panorama. It's almost a panversary too.
I know. God. I saw that where it's like just like 18 more days until fucking one whole year of COVID. And I was like, get out of here.
Yeah, I know. That made me feel, I was like a spiraling. I was like, oh my God, that put me in the stress motor right there.
Yeah, because like we were saying, like you, before we started our podcast, we've been idle for a whole year.
Literally. Just
like I just started going back to school in 2019, and then spring semester of 2020 was cut halfway because of COVID.
Oh yeah.
And everything was brought online, and it was just completely different. It was something that I didn't want because I'm a kinesthetic learner, so I learn hands-on.
Yeah.
And it's just so boring. It's so hard to just like keep focus on my class because I'm just like staring at a screen, and I'm like, I'm not in class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely not real. Yeah.
This is not real.
You're like, I'm watching YouTube. I could just click off right now and just, that's it. No education, I guess. That's it. Skillshare? Who knows?
Yeah. Text message on my screen.
Yeah.
I will be answering that.
Yeah. It's just like so, oh my God, it's so overwhelming how underwhelming this experience is. You know, like there's no stimulation, and especially being a kinesthetic learner, think about even like the pathology of everything happening is so different. Teachers that are going into the field thinking like, oh, I'm going to be more hands-on. I'm going to be more interactive with my students or a lecture or kids. Everything is so different. Like I can't even run down a list of like what stresses that must be doing to like literally change the direction. Maybe that might just pull someone's passion out of the booty hole and be like, I don't want to be a teacher anymore. I don't want to be a student anymore.
It sucked it right out with a straw, dude. You just like, and then it spit it out like
it's little
your career,
little thing. Yeah,
gone. You hate your job now.
Yeah,
Zoom, fuck that thing. What's even like what I think sucks too is like the younger generation right now, and you know, like,
oh yeah, fuck them, they suck.
Kindergartners and everything. It's crucial to have person-on-person interaction.
Absolutely,
and, you know, and for them to not be able to go to school to meet other people, and you're just meeting on a screen, like that's not what I want for my kid. You know, like I want to be able to have, like, I want them to be able to enjoy life and like make new friends and like have fun on the playground.
Yeah.
Play in a sandbox. I don't fucking know. Like
eat some fucking dirt. Like live a little bit.
Kick rocks, bro.
Yeah. Throw some pebbles at your little elementary school crush. Yeah. Your crush. Yeah. Crush them with a rock. No, don't do that. But they're
just mean to you because they like you.
Yeah. Oh, boo. Okay. We'll have eps on that for sure. The bad tropes of, you know, of by the masculine
emotional
traits.
Manipulation.
Emotional. Can I get an amen? Nope. Yikes at that.
Get out. There's the door.
Slam your head on it.
No, thank you.
No thanks. Not on this menu. And this literally,
I ran a poll on my Instagram.
Ooh, ran that poll.
I ran that poll.
Ooh, making the claps.
And what my question was, how do you handle stress? Mm-hmm. So, Paul, how do you handle stress?
Oh my God. Most people I texted on the side because I realized I did put anxious, and then I like confirmed it before we started recording. I put anxious and I literally forgot. But then people did reply to me like through the DMs. They're like, oh, I meant to like put this. And I'm like, oh, let's talk about it. Here's my chance. So I was like, I meant to say like stress and how do you handle it, and ask them, because I'm like not sure if I even handle stress. And that's why I got that mental conditions where it's just, it amounts. And I'm like, but we don't want to talk about, or I don't want to talk about stress being a horrible thing, a factor, because in the past year, or my whole life, basically, it's like stress rules us. It defines who we are. It defines our decisions and everything. So in the past year and a little bit beforehand, stress was more of the adrenaline that kind of pushed me and motivated me and brought that scope into like what I need to do, what the next thing I need to do, which is a healthy method and a healthy coping mechanism to approach stress. Yeah, sometimes it becomes so overwhelming. I'm like, almost like when you have like so many coffees where you're just like, okay, it's like you go from the peak of like neutralized to like torqued, where you're like, I have too much energy, I'm gonna fall down, or like I'm driving too fast.
I have too much energy in this body. I don't know how to.
I'm just so vibrating. I'm like, Kristin, I feel great. Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, and
I know
it's like that overwhelming feeling of like I have so many ideas. I'm so like ready to like handle this, and like it stresses me out because then I get into overextending myself, and that's where I'm like, that's where I think I have the facade of I'm handling my stress by I'm being productive. Yeah, I close down, I shut down to only the people that I need to be in contact with. But how I kind of help in the I guess like the most basic way of answering your question, I don't handle stress when it reaches the breaking point, when it reaches the threshold. When I cross that threshold, it just goes like bananas. Like it's like the worm in the box thing or like some shit like that. Where it's just like, boop.
The snake in the can?
Yeah, snake in the can. It just pops out. I'm like, and beforehand, I use it as fuel, like to energize me to get tasks done, to talk to people when I feel like I'm lonely and that stresses me out. It's making me anxious. I get overly social and then I get stressed out because I can't answer all 30,000 messages I sent out. Yeah, I'm like, I can't keep up with these random conversations I started. Why did I do this? And then vice versa, where it's like I stepped away from the conversations. Now the person thinks I hate them. Like I don't want to talk to them anymore. I'm like, I'm scared. Like I gotta get shit done. Yeah. I'm hopping around. So I handle stress well until I don't understand my own boundaries, which we talked about before, but that's a reoccurring thing, baby. And it tends to go to overextending myself, overstretching in any way. And that's kind of like where my pole ran. Like it was like socializing. People got stressed about overextending themselves. And then last is being alone, being with their thoughts. But how do you handle stress? Do you have like a mythology behind it?
I think that was like one of the questions that you asked, how I handle stress. I don't handle it well.
Oh, not well.
I do not handle it well. I tend to break down. I do the complete opposite of what I tell other people to do. I oversleep and I turn off my phone. And I'm like, it's fine. Like, I'm just doing this for a day. Like, and then the next day I'm like, you fucking idiot. Why didn't you do what you needed to do? Yeah.
Cause you're like me day for a week.
Yeah. But you know, like how I would like to handle stress is, you know, be able to collect my thoughts and be like, okay, this is what's making me stressed. Like, let me just take a break on it, work on something else, clear my mind, and then come back and be able to finish it and be able to feel fulfilled and accomplished. Because after that, then I'm like, okay, now I could take on the fucking world and I could do whatever I want.
Yeah, I could rule the world and go back to college. And like, I have the vaccine. Kristin has the vaccine, everyone. So she literally has all the answers. She is the professional one with the illegal vaccines.
Big brain.
Big brain energy with the big baby Yoda. Yes. Y'all can't see, but there's a huge baby Yoda right there. Right there.
When I ran that poll and I had a lot of like different responses on there. But I had a lot where to drink alcohol, to eat. I had people say that they handle stress by walking or doing yoga. And then I've had people say like they don't handle it. It handles them. There was one that said like they spend time alone doing something they enjoy, like simple crafts or exploring a new hobby. And that's good.
That's really good. That's a good
That is good. So good job, Maya.
Good job, Maya. Shout out to Maya. Here we go. Hey, oh, wait, we got a shout out thing right there.
Maya, another shout out to Ryan. He said he cleans and he said it low-key takes my mind off of things.
Wow. Yeah.
And the finished product is a clean room. So I'm like, that's
really good. It's organizing your thoughts and organizing your living space. That is such a good, healthy thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wish I could be Ryan.
Love you, Ryan. My bestie Aubrey said she uses a protection bubble.
Ooh.
But she also takes a break to refresh her perspective. Oh. And she said, but crying works too.
Oh, crying. Yeah, it's literally a cleanse. Like it's literally a release, a form of release. So I agree with that. Riley, thank you. Riley. Aubrey. Ryan. Dude, I've been saying the wrong names for so many people right after you say it. Like last night, remember? You're like, it was, and I was like, and I'm like, same thing. Was that X?
I was like, no, that was the X from before. And you were like,
the other X. I'm like, 3 years ago X. Heard.
Yeah. And then a couple of people wrote working out,
which is that blows my mind because I'm like
top tier.
I wish my energy instead of was like running around my own room and my thoughts was just like take a run. But then I'm like, if I run, I'll get tired and fall asleep. That never happens. Ever happens. I get so much energy. How do people do that?
I've been working out. You know.
You have. Yeah, you have.
To get in thick, baby. In the right way.
Yeah. Oh, in the right spots. Yeah.
You know, I can definitely agree and say that it helps. It helps so much. There's times where I'll come home pissed off from work and I'm just like, fuck it. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go for a run. And then when I come back home, I'm like, all right, I feel better.
Yeah. It is literally so. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's so nice. And then you take a shower after and you're just like, I feel brand new.
Yeah, you're like, I'm alive. It's, oh my God. And then showering. Oh my gosh, showering is so, because like when you have that. Yes,
showering is so nice.
It's like a spa, like swimming and showering and just like, being in different environments. Like going on a hike into like a waterfall or something. Like, oh my God, that's therapeutic in itself. And then just going on a walk. We talk about walks a lot, but like, because you do have to charge your battery with yourself too. You also have to recharge and take a step back. And if you're stressing yourself out, which is a big stressor, especially if people are like feel anxious and stressed being alone, sometimes you just need to navigate those stressors and like, what is stressing yourself out? Why are you stressing yourself out? Are you annoyed with yourself? I get annoyed with myself. So I'm like, oh, gotta sometimes like grind it. Like he has to clean up his space. Maybe that was stressing himself out. Maybe you just want to feel healthier. So you want to go on a walk like that. That's kind of like what we explained. Like we want to feel good and look good and just feel healthy. So like we're just managing like little by little, just walk, diet, other stuff, you know? But there's so many ways out there how it affects us. But aside from how it affects us, y'all know how to do it. You listen to us. Don't listen to what we say, not what we do. So, you know, just take our advice, please. Yeah. Thanks for talking about stress. I know we have so many topics like left to talk. Like we got boundaries. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the freaking your crush during Roxette, your crush and stuff. There's so many topics, and if y'all want to follow, we have a little website going on. We're gonna start, you know, rolling out stuff in the spring, come spring and summer and everything. And if you have any questions, you could definitely always hit us up on our personal Instagrams. You could always fill out a form if you want to like just talk or anything on the website, which will be probably make an Instagram or something for it later on. But like, yeah, we'll just drop it
on our own personal.
Yeah, we'll drop. Yeah, we just literally just reach out to us. We're as personal as it gets. You know, like we'll make time if we're not stressed out. We'll make time for you and each other. And
I will never be stressed out like again after this podcast.
I was gonna say after this episode, I am new. I am a new person. If you enjoy listening to us, please give us 5 stars, right? Because nothing less than 5.
Follow.
Like and follow. Share this episode. If you didn't even listen to it, if you fall asleep, just share it normally on your story or something, or send it to someone like on LinkedIn.
Just
or
give us some feedback. If we talk way too fucking much, who cares?
Yeah, who cares? I care.
That's your fault.
Yeah, just skip around.
I mean, I care too, but at the same time, I love talking to you, Paul.
Yeah, I love talking to you. We're little armchair therapists each other. Look at us.
I know. Look at us. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? I'm looking at you. Baby Yoda's looking at me. I'm not looking at him because I don't want to get distracted. But he's like big loud. He's like, you see him? He's like this. He's like, he's looking at me all wide face, all cute. Well, oh my God, we have a little outro song. So I'm just going to let it play. Well, thank you again. You could listen to us on Spotify, on Apple Pod, literally anywhere you listen to podcasts. We're going to be out there surfing the web, surfing the internet with our voices.
They're yelling. Come listen to us.
Listen to our broadcast. Like, listen. Yeah, just like listen. We said again, for the 8th time, if you have topics you want us to talk about, if you have a question that we could answer because we're unprofessional, let us know. All right. I'm Paul. I was Paul. I am still Paul.
I'm Kristin. I was Kristin. And I have been reborn as Kristin.
Kristin 2.0. Thanks for listening to Unprofessional Perfectionist. We'll get you next episode.
See you next time.
See ya. Bye.